Dear Big G. Adaptations and conflicts. One adaptation was how they made fences to protect themselves from the natives and to show ownership of thy land. This showed conflict between the settlers and the natives around them because the settlers' idea of owning land contradicted the native ideology of sharing everything around them.
So I got a gimlet in my hand here. I'm making a small hole through which I can put a nail, secure this pail onto the fence. Gimlet.
A gimlet?
Yeah. See, it's got this part here what screws in.
The settlers ran into conflict when trying to find shelter. They had to build their own houses from resources that they found on the land. It took a total of 1 month to build a house, so not many people were sheltered fast enough. These houses were inadequate and didn't protect the settlers as much as their houses back in England.
This fair lady told us that they adapted to the land by finding their source of food. They at first tried to grow wheat and barley, but the soil was not good enough. The natives then taught them how to grow different crops that they could use, such as corn and onions on the land. This was a key adaptation for survival. Hysteria from the Salem witch trials, in which innocent people were killed because the leaders were more worried about being correct than finding out the truth, caused conflicts between people and their religion. These people, such as Rebecca Nurse and others, were accused of witchcraft and siding with the devil and were put to death by young girls' accusations. Others who observed this realized that the colony was falling apart because of the hysteria and wanted to flee from the failing society. After people left, they brought news of new religions based off their beliefs, and they began to change into a new colony that is not England.
Conflicts between people and their religion was quite common at this time. One example of this was when William Blackstone sold land to the Puritans that broke away from Plymouth, which is now Boston Common. The people could not tolerate the harsh regulations of the church and how it ran everything around them. Religions were changing more and more, which shows how people adapted to become more American.
After the Boston Massacre, the haves decided to bury the deceased have-nots in the granite burial ground that was usually used for the wealthy haves. They did this to show a false sense of nationalism and redirect the have-not anger towards the British. This showed how the haves used the incident as propaganda to persuade the have-nots' anger.
The Boston Tea Party was an example of how conflicts between the British and the colonial people are increasing. The have-nots sided with the haves, and together they rebelled to throw overboard tea that totaled up to hundreds of thousands of dollars of your money, King George. The main flames of our revolution against the colonies stemmed from this place, the Old Southtown Meeting House. Here the colonial people met and discussed ideas that angered them. One day, Sam Adams gave an emotional speech that stated that England doesn't understand them and that their cause is forgotten. In doing so, he caused the people to rile up and rebel against us. He is the mind of the revolution, and this is where it all started.
Yours truly, Muggsy and Carl.